The following podcast may be explicit. One Joe Young presents Adventures from the Shed, a tabletop RPG podcast. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com. Hi, welcome to the, we'll call it the Shed. Welcome to Adventures from the Shed. We're at our session 0. What that typically means and how we're taking it, how we're running this, is that we are going to have our players sit and talk for the first time all together. Of course, including myself. So we should have 5 people throughout the recording today. When we have our people on, the idea is we're going to learn to know each other. We're going to say hi, see how things are going. And then I'll set up the basis for our adventure. And the reason I started this early before people are online is I wanted to give you, the viewer listener, a heads up as to what I'm planning compared to, well, how it might turn out. So this is Joe, and I'm here with Adventures from the Shed 2.0. So what we're going to be playing is a medieval fantasy D&D 5th edition. I'm going to give the players an option whether to start at level 1 or 2 once we talk about the way this works. I've come up with a skeleton of what we're going to do. That skeleton includes, we're in a world, and I'm going to call it the Lands of Never. And usually pronunciation is all that matters, but just in case somebody cares how it's spelled, it's Neever. It's like never with an extra E. And the Lands of Never has many different cities and populations and climates and peoples. And the players are going to find themselves in one of the last frontiers of the lands on the west side of the Mountains of the Lost. I'm just making these up as we go, right? But I have notes in front of me right here on an iPad. And these are the skeleton notes I have. I could show you the screen. I've got maybe 12 lines of notes. It's not very much. So they'll be starting right at the foothills of the Lands of the Lost, the Mountains of the Lost. And the town they're in is going to be a small town, or is a small town, and it just brims with tales of what might be on the other side of the mountains. Most common of the tales is of a lost ancient empire. And on a good day with clear skies, you can still see the remains of a guard tower way up on the side of one of the nearest peaks. And I'll be asking the players, why are they in this town? And what reason do they have to adventure to the Mountains of the Lost? That's my setup. We'll see how it turns out. But I wanted to give you, the viewer listener, a heads up as to what Joe is thinking. Now, I've got to go find, I think I've got somebody waiting. Yep, looks like Jason is waiting. I'm going to admit Jason. And there's Maria, Jason.
Yeah, it's me.
Hi, we're recording already, just so you know. I didn't let you in right away, because what I was doing to try and set this up was I took just a handful of minutes and read out some of my notes to let people hear what the GM was getting set up before the player showed up. Now, you're right. This is, I was saying before I admitted you, and this is like 12 lines of text. It's not a whole lot, but it's something that can get us started. So, Jason, how are you?
Good, my friend. Good. Glad I can be here. Yesterday was a little bit crazy, so definitely excited to begin the process and everything.
Cool. I don't know if you noticed, but I kind of fixed my green screen thing.
Yeah, I see that. It definitely
all the way.
It's much more grand than it was last time.
It's very grand. I haven't picked widescreen just because.
I love it. It looks good. Yeah, it's better than my background right here. I'm in my wife's office right now. So
the actual mess that I'm sitting in is nothing like what the screen sees, which is typical, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's the beauty of the internet. You can always put on that kind of facade. They don't have to see what's behind you.
I think if you looked up facade or tried to draw it in Pictionary, it would look like this.
Excellent stuff, man. Excellent stuff. Well, again, I'm super excited to be here. So sorry about the scheduling conflict yesterday.
Not a problem.
Things happened, and it was good times.
And it's still more daylight there than it is here. Although I mean, it's not dark here, of course. But you're West Coast.
Well, the sun doesn't set here until around 8:30, 8:45 now. Yeah. So it's pretty much daylight all day from 5:30 to 8:30 every single day. Just nothing but sun.
Very cool.
Nice.
I mean,
hot,
if you like the
sun. Yeah, I like it better than other things here. I have a pretty nasty tan line, as you can see. I don't know if you can tell.
Oh yeah, I can see that right in the middle.
Yep. It's definitely noticeable.
Yeah. But that's all right. I mean, that means you spend some time outside, get a little vitamin D.
Oh, there you go. Absolutely.
Kill off some of the COVID-19 in the air.
You would think so, but Arizona's the new hot spot now. Arizona's the place where COVID has come to roost in the summertime, even though everyone was hoping that the summer heat would kill it. It hasn't.
Right.
So.
Yeah, we have here in South Carolina, there's a resurgence of positive results by percentage. We hit like 17% positive just the other day. And it's been crazy. And I've got, I play in a couple bands, and I have a practice tomorrow night, and then there's a gig on Friday night. It's an outdoor gig, or we wouldn't have accepted it. But when we accepted it, the numbers weren't going back up. And it's like, and I can't wear a mask because I sing, so I can't just, everyone else can hide. Everyone else can put a mask on and play. Yeah. So I've gotten nervous about it, but we're going to do it and see how it turns out.
I just make sure you keep your distance, no screaming fans running up to you and, clawing at your face, and then you should be all right.
If I had any screaming fans, I think I'd probably welcome a little virus. It's more like just people who show up at the bar and hang out.
Oh, there you go. That's cool, though. That's cool. Yeah, I can't sing to save my life, so that's
me
awesome.
either, but I do it. Oh man!
Oh my goodness! All right. Well,
another technicality I was thinking of, or maybe a logistics I was thinking of, was I think when we get started in Zoom, we can change our last name to the character name.
Yes.
That way it'll be Jason and then the name of the character. I'll put Joe and GM, and hey, Chris is coming in.
Yeah, that's what I do with my games that I run online right now. Currently, I'll have the player name and then it, like in parentheses their character name. That way they know who's playing who.
That's cool. Chris is joining eventually. It's already recording, Chris, just so you know.
So put my clothes on or something.
You gotta put your clothes. Why bother?
No, exactly. I'm not wearing any pants right now. So I mean, we're all fine. We're all good here.
And clearly, we all got the Blue Shirt Day memo.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Oh, cool.
We'll see how
one guy's not gonna have that. One guy's gonna screw up and be like, "Oh man."
We know it's going to happen.
He rolls with disadvantage for the whole night, then that's all that means.
That's it. Oh, Eli is coming in.
I love the background, though, Chris. It looks very epic right now.
Yeah, it's the Gunship Dark All Day album cover, I believe.
That's awesome. That is awesome right there.
He's just making up words.
He might be. But
I made an entire band from the UK, and just it's all crazy. I was like talking with Elvis language right there.
It fits your head, like it floats in perfectly and it goes around your head.
You got that halo.
It does look really nice.
He's playing a celestial character. That's what it's going to be.
There you go.
It's a little foreshadowing.
If you allow me, I'll go for the extra craziness.
Well, we'll have extra
craziness. It's been a while since I played Celestial Bloodlines in a long time.
So hey, let's take a minute and say hi to each other. Well, hi Eli, welcome.
Hello, Eli.
We have Eli, Chris, and Jason on. First time you guys get to talk to each other. Mm-hmm. Have some interactions. I'm going to have some water.
I've heard nothing but bad things about the both of you from Joe, just nonstop. That's all we were talking about when I logged in.
So have you guys, were you guys already listening to Joe's podcast prior to this?
No,
they didn't bother to listen. I mean, come on.
No.
Why do your homework? It's not like they had to fill out a resume or application.
I don't like making good first impressions, so no, I didn't.
Oh, well,
I mean, all that really matters is who I am in game, right?
There you go.
Right, exactly.
I love Eli, right? Is that what you prefer?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to call you something that you don't like being called. I love it. Like he's got like that whole shadow effect going across his face right now. It looks very, very epic at the moment.
Yeah.
Why, thank you.
Like
It's not
if you
how
were
I
to-
would
if you-
describe a janky
Well,
setup,
if
but
you,
thank
if
you.
you would like, if you gave like a really like, intense speech about like, an agent that you're going to kill or something like that.
Oh,
That's like kind of
yeah.
vibe that I feel from your setup.
All right, I can see it.
Yeah.
Brothers, we have waited months
I got-
for
I
this
gotta
day
upgrade
to
my-
come. We will take back our motherland and drive the invaders.
I'm gonna have
From
to
our
upgrade
home.
my background. My goodness, I'm failing in the backdrop game right now in the lighting game.
Dude, will there be snacks?
Monitoring this. Yeah. NSA is
No,
already
no
sending
snack
out
breaks.
agents to get us.
No snacks.
Oh no snack breaks. Why are we even playing Dungeons and Dragons if there's no snack breaks?
All right.
Well, we don't have to take breaks. I guess maybe that's the point.
That's
What?
true.
It'll be over before you work up an appetite.
Cool.
That's the
You mean we're going to
possibility.
lose that fast?
Oh,
That can happen.
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
That's awesome. So we saw, if you guys were seeing the Facebook message, Randy had his in-laws stop by to see his new baby boy, which means he's going to be here whenever Randy gets here. We'll see how that works out.
That baby already calling the shots in his life. My goodness.
And he already had a girl, so yeah,
Oh.
he's
Well, at least you got the hard run away, I guess, first. I don't know.
Raise a drink for a fallen comrade.
Yeah. I'm 7 months in with a daughter. It's rough.
Oh,
Oof.
7 months. Is it your first kid or is this?
Yeah, so it's like sleep regression, teething, like I'm going to be extra fussy. Like today was kind of rough. Good
Awesome.
times.
Well,
How was
enjoy them
your
while they're
How was
young,
your daughter?
man.
What's that?
What?
I think he said 7. She's 7 months now. 7 months old.
7 months. 7 months.
Oof.
Correct.
They grow up too fast, my friend. I got a 14-year-old now, so.
I'm
Good
waiting.
Lord.
I'm ready for the walking and talking, like feed yourself.
No, you're
kind of
not.
thing,
You're
yeah.
not.
I am.
You're
She's
not.
almost too small. It's hard for me to hold on to her. She's too small.
Oh,
She needs to be snuggle size. She needs to get
Uh,
extra foot or something.
Can't relate. Any infant I hold is like already a fourth of my body size.
those are some huge babies.
I know. I was gonna say.
I am not a large person.
How tall are you then?
I mean,
he looks about that big.
yes, what you see on screen is my actual canon height.
Actual
Life size.
size.
I am
head.
just a head and shoulders.
Nice.
Take a guess as to my favorite shampoo.
Pert.
Head and shoulders.
Yeah.
It's Dove.
So, Jason asked, "How tall are you, if you don't mind?"
Oh, not at all. I'm 5'3".
Twice a
5'3".
baby's height.
Twice a baby size. 5'3". My goodness, Eli, you might be my new best friend because I'm usually the shortest one out of everyone I know. I'm 5'4". So.
Nice. Well, congratulations on
Randy-
finding someone shorter.
Randy's kind of short too, isn't he? Isn't
I thought he
Randy
was
kinda short?
tall. He looks the
Oh,
same
nice.
size on camera as Eli, actually.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all about framing.
It is.
It's all about the angles, man. Angles and lighting.
Like me with
Mhm.
my grand setup, like Jason said.
Captain Green Screen.
That's right. And I was telling him, though, you don't really want to see the behind the scenes here because it's
Same with mine. It's like the boring,
Oh.
wood paneling crap up here. Yeah.
If I did not have this blanket, you would just be seeing a cardboard box. Well,
I've
sorry,
got
a
Wi-Fi out there.
stack of cardboard boxes.
Stack of cargo. Yeah, so it's not just one. He's got a stack though. That's.
I may do with what I've had. I'm still settling into the new place, and there's no outlet near the closet. So,
putting an addition on my house by cardboard box.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I like living like a little rat, just having mazes everywhere.
Very
cozy.
modular.
It's modular, yeah.
Extra modular.
Sucks
yeah.
if it rains.
Hey, Joe, what mic are you using, Joe?
I
mic is
am
that?
using, damn it, I'm trying to remember the brand name, but it's one of those ones that has a,
The one?
Thing?
Yeah, with the plug?
yeah, and it has,
Oh, I think my favorite streamer uses that one.
yeah, it's a MXL BCD1, but
Okay.
it's the Midnight Purple edition because I thought it was a cool
Oh.
color.
Dope.
Purple's not really coming through on that. It's more midnight over here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's mainly because I was readjusting lighting and I have just really white lights right now.
it happens.
I'm super white.
It's the same reason I'm wearing this hat, because my purple hair just looks black, straight up.
Nice.
Like,
Straight
what?
up, yeah.
Why dye it if it's not going to come through?
Why bother?
That's that's why I get rid of my hair. Just shave it off. And
You can see a little bit of the red I did in my hair because that spot is white normally.
Solid. I like
Yeah,
it.
exactly. So
I'm
instead
trying-
of a big white spot, I have one single red spot.
Trying to convince my buddy Ethan to do the same, because he just has like a single white streak that
Yeah.
he's had since like he was 14. But now he refuses. Thinks it makes him look mature.
Oh, yeah. I suppose dyeing it purple wouldn't be as mature.
That's true. That's true.
I almost convinced him with hot pink. Almost.
Almost?
You almost went the hot pink route, but not the purple. That's.
I mean, I think he would have been on board had his boyfriend not shut him down.
Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, the
when you
boyfriend's
get
got to
shut
look at
down-
him more than you probably, so he, I can get that.
Yeah. Shucky darn.
So what I'd like to do, we've already started talking to each other. We're getting a feel of who we are. I want to give you guys just a little heads up, and I'll just repeat this when Randy shows up because it's short. But my notes for how we are going to get started by plan, not by necessarily what reality is going to reflect, but what the plan is. Again, we're going to play D&D 5th edition. I do want to keep everything as we start. Everything that we're going to do is just from the player handbook. So don't go to all the other books, mainly because I just want to keep it simple to start. So we don't have to worry about looking things up in different places. I don't have to worry about, when you pick the whatchy-hoochie race from the latest Arcana of Superficial Butterscotch or something, that place, I don't want to know that. So we're going to go with Player's Handbook, the basic rules. And so you'll pick a class out of there, a race out of there. One of the things I was thinking is I'll put it up to you guys if we want to start at level 1 or 2. 2 will give you, a little extra, at least another hit die. But it'll still keep the character simple enough that you don't have to learn a lot to get started. So everybody's at least basically familiar with the beginning of a D&D game. So we ought to be able to do that. I have a skeleton of a world set up, but only a skeleton because you guys are going to help me fill everything in. And when we get started, one of the things that we'll really start talking about is based on what I set up for you, what kind of characters do you think you want to play? And that will give us another topic to discuss, because knowing what you want to play is definitely going to affect others. I'll say it right from the beginning. It does not at all matter what class you choose. Just make sure it's one you want to play. I don't need a balanced party, and I know some of us have talked about this separately. I don't need a balanced party. It could possibly be even more exciting if there were just 4 rogues in the party. I think Chris and I talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
4 rogues, or 3 rogues and a paladin, or something like that. That could make for a
That'd be
better
interesting.
adventure than
Sounds like a nice joke.
yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
A balanced party by the numbers may not be as exciting. Now, the reality is if it works out, I mean, if somebody wants to play a cleric, somebody wants to play a fighter, somebody wants to play a ranger, somebody wants to play a wizard, sure, we can do that. But you don't have to pick a class just because nobody else has picked it. It's more important that you pick what you want to play. I would also like to do the, I can't remember which standard array it is, but it's the one where you get it's like a 16 2 15s and then a few other numbers. It's in the beginning of the player handbook. It's one of the recommended arrays. That way everybody can I think there's a 9 in there. That there's a single negative
8, I
1
believe,
stat.
or
It's
something
an
like
8.
that.
Yeah,
It's one detracted stat.
Yeah. So we'll go with that. And at this point, because we don't know when Randy's going to show up, let me give you just a couple little bits about what the world is. You guys are free to take notes, of course, whether they be typed or written. That's completely up to you. I don't care if you're typing. If we hear your keyboards too loud, I'll just let you know.
Yeah, I have a mechanical keyboard, so I take all my notes in my phone. So I'm not just on my phone watching things and not paying attention. I'm using it for this.
Clack, 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 clack. Yeah, mechanical keyboards. Wow.
Yeah, I got a hardcore mechanical keyboard. It makes a lot of noise.
Nice. So the world, or I should say the lands that we are in are called Never, Neever. So you're essentially, everyone lives in the lands of Never. It's never with an extra E at the beginning.
So it's neither here or there? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
exactly. Well, for now, Never is here. Later, it'll be there.
Yeah, all right.
So it's a varied lands, many different cities, populations, climates, and peoples. So anything can be found there. Of course, in some places there are congregations of more farmers and more city folk and what have you. Just a regular landscape, if you will. You're going to find yourselves, your characters, as you start, will find yourselves in one of the last frontiers of the land. And you're all pretty much, if there's a map of the world, you're all the way on the east side. And you are right at the foothills of what are called the Mountains of the Lost. And it's because everyone gets lost when they go over the mountain, right? The town you're in is small, and it's like, call it in our terms, a Western town after the gold rush. Everybody's talking about, and what they're talking about over the years has been people who have gotten lost, what's really on the other side of the mountains, and what riches might be over there. And this town really exists to support adventurers who kind of try and make their way into that new frontier. And when you are there, one of the most common tales that people talk about is on a nice clear day, no clouds, no mist in the mountains, and on the top of the nearest peak, you can actually see the remains of what was probably a guard tower from an ancient civilization. And that, of course, is part of the hook. But adventurers and an adventure is how we're setting it up. What you're going to have to come up with is, why would your character be here and what reason would you have to adventure? It could be as simple as any reason you want to come up with. I specifically did not name the town because anybody can decide they're from that town, and then you'll tell me what the town name is. And anytime you want to say you're from a city nearby, far away, a little town, from the forest, just come up with a name for it and we'll add that to the list. So there's a little basis to think about. Any ideas from anybody? What you think you might want to play in a setting like that?
Well, I've been toying around with a couple ideas, mostly just to pass time at work, and I've got.
I use work for that.
Yep.
I'm kidding. I don't really work. Chris knows.
It's a 12-hour shift assembling the same car part for 12 hours.
Dude, I digress for a minute, but I worked in manufacturing in a window and door plant, and my job for 8 hours a day was take the vinyl, put it on the saw, step on the pedal, saw goes up, saw goes down, take the vinyl, put it on the table. Take the vinyl, push it into the saw, step on the pedal, saw goes up, saw goes down, take the vinyl, put it on the 8 hours a day for 5 days a week.
Yep.
So I can sympathize with that.
But yeah, in my vast quantities of time there at work, I've thought up a character. I haven't named him yet. It's just a concept. This is a man who has left his home in search of coin. Why does he need the coin? Because his 2-year-old child has recently started to show signs of being magically inclined. So he's off in search of gold to either admit him to, say, a magical college or to pay for a private tutor.
Cool. Or to pay to be ready to rebuild the house after the imminent destruction of the child learning magic.
Oh, I never thought about that angle.
Yeah.
That's good.
Start building up that nest egg so you can get all those cardboard boxes to fix the house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think I want to make him a fighter.
Okay.
but I've also toyed with the idea of him being a sorcerer and it just being part of his bloodline.
That makes sense for to me at least in the D&D verse. That bloodlines and sorcerers that definitely fits. Yeah, cool. Any other thoughts for that character? A fighting sorcerer with a child that blows stuff up.
That. Sorry, now you're getting my DM brain going.
There you
I'm
go,
like,
yeah.
ooh, how can I stretch this around?
For
But
whatever
that's
reason, I just thought of your 2-year-old child on your shoulders like Master Blaster from Beyond Thunderdome.
Who runs Barter
I like
Town?
it. I like it.
Master Blaster run Barter Town. I don't know why I thought that, but I did.
That's awesome.
You want to play a game of Sorcerer Chicken?
Sorcerer Chicken. Oh my.
That's the basic concept that I've
hold
got
on,
down.
man. Cool.
I think I am leaning towards fighter, but who knows?
What do you think might be the weapons of choice or weapon of choice for your fighter?
I would say great sword all the way.
Yeah.
I am very much of the belief that you don't need to hit a lot. You need to hit once and hard.
Okay. I actually like that idea because it's definitely more heroic when something falls when you hit it, rather than something just hangs around for a bit longer because you need to hit it 10 more times.
6 rounds of back and forth. Roll this, roll this, roll this.
Yeah,
All right, he's finally dead. All right.
Yeah.
It looks cool in an anime, but not so great at the table.
Just Dragon Ball going back and forth forever.
Cool. Chris or Jason, any thoughts on what you?
I'll go next unless Chris, if you want to go.
No, go for it, man.
All right, so I've been toying around with a few ideas as well, and I had 2 that I kept going back to. One was a halfling who is going out because he fell in love with the idea of becoming a secret agent to a large degree. He heard a long time ago in his hometown these tales of this organization which would go out and be revered for what they did as far as crafting and manipulating the world, almost James Bond-esque, if you've ever heard that ancient tale in this land here of 007.
Cool.
A true myth.
He's not a fighter by any means. He's not somebody who is even remotely good at fighting, but he aspires to be. And he goes around and he puts on this air of confidence that he can be that suave rogue agent-esque individual here, but really he's not very good. And again, he even sometimes lies and says that, oh, I'm here and he flashes a little badge that he made up himself to people to try to see if he can get his way into places, and tries to solve crimes and things like that when he's not welcome to. He just kind of comes in and does these things. Right. But the hope is that he really truly hopes and he believes in the lore so much that these agents exist, and if he goes around enough of the world and does enough to prove his worth, that he will eventually be allowed in. So that's the basis of one character I had. The other one that I had was for a dwarf. She is from a long line of blacksmiths and miners, and she hates it. She absolutely despises being underground. She's not a fan of it, and she has no desire to show off the strength in arms or things like that, like her father and her father's father and all of them. And she wants to perform. She wants to be a performer. She wants to go out and she wants to see the world, and she wants to basically engage in strength in performing arts versus strength in actually swinging a hammer. So she has an absolute distaste for a lot of weaponry. She does not like it because she grew up around it so much. She spent hours and hours and hours, 12-hour shifts like Eli in front of us for just banging out different kinds of metals. So she knows how to do it, and she has a good background as far as the ability to make things, but she just absolutely hates and despises. So she doesn't even try to use weapons. She actually has, she doesn't have a good singing voice. She's not a good performer because she was never encouraged by her parents. She was never encouraged to go out there and be that creative type of individual. But she's learning, and she's trying to get out there. She's been booed off of many stages, and she's been again kicked off of open mic nights at local taverns because she just wasn't very good at it. But she's off in the world, and she's looking to make her mark, not through her father or her family's lineage, but by making something of her own. So those are the two characters that I've been going back and forth between, and I'm not sure which one I would want to play. I'm open to both right now currently.
I could tell you from what I just heard of the two, I'd be eager to see the halfling agent 00.5.
All right. Yeah, I'm down for that.
One of the things that got me right at the beginning, and I wanted to listen to the whole thing, but you said he's a halfling and then does something to a large degree. And I'm like, halflings don't do anything to a large degree. Ha, ha. But I do like that idea of the, I don't know, like the hapless investigator kind of thing. That's kind of, I like the way that sounds. Not so much like a Pink Panther, the Clouseau thing, but somebody probably who's a little more adept and more sincere. Well, not that Clouseau wasn't sincere. He was anyway. Yeah. But to me, that's the character I think I'd like to see.
Okay, yeah, I'm down to play that. We'll go with the halfling. I haven't named him yet either, because naming is the thing that takes the longest for me, even being a DM. Yeah. It's the thing that takes the longest. But yeah. I like the character a lot. Those are the two that I was waffling back and forth from, so I'm down to play the halfling.
Cool. His name is now Waffle.
Waffle, hey, I like it. I'll
00.5.
The name is Waffle. The name is Waffle.
Waffle. Belgian waffle. It's called Belly.
That's going to be his name now.
By the way, you guys had not listened to the podcast, but this is the shenanigans all the time. Half of what we do is just making fun of the other half of what we did. So yeah, it's perfectly okay.
All right.
Serious moment, not really.
And we did establish, Eli, like when we were talking, and Chris knows already, swear words are not a problem. If you need to take a shit or give a fuck, go for it. It's okay. Just it's all about the usage, not about the words. Right.
Perfect.
Chris, what are you thinking?
Just words.
I like to see your screen changing brightness and your face lights up and goes dark and lights up.
Yeah. I'm switching back between the player's handbook and whatnot, because like I said before, I think like I wouldn't mind playing a rogue or thief again, and then possibly a paladin, but I kind of like the idea of the 005 thing over there, so I don't want to take the rogue spot because that's pretty cool.
0.5.
Yeah, right. 0.5.
Halfling, you see?
Halfling.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now. I'm sad that I missed that.
I actually have a T-shirt that is in the style of Diet Coke, and it's dad jokes is what it says on it. So I'll have to wear that sometime. Yeah.
I've been putting some in my repertoire lately for the dad joke. So I had another guy that it's a character I'd used for a campaign that didn't really go anywhere, so I played him for about 5 seconds. He's a warlock, an elven warlock. His parents were killed, but he wasn't a magic user at first. He's basically just a ranger type of guy, fighter type. His parents got killed, so he made a deal with a demon to get powers to like seek revenge for his family's death. So kind of on a quest to put the evildoers to rest, but he's got his powers come from a bad spot. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like him trying to contain I always like kind of playing characters like that. They're good guys, but they got something bad inside them they're trying to contain the whole time. So that would be kind of cool. See if I can pull that off again. So that's probably my main character idea right now.
What do you think about the reverse of that? A bad guy who keeps just happening to do good things.
By accident?
Well, whether it be by accident or because there's something good inside him trying to get out. Like a Vader kind of thing.
I'll have to think that over. That's not bad. It was either that or I play the paladin and everybody else is rogues and they're trying to slit each other's throat and I'm just like a babysitter. Like, come on, guys. I'm not killing people.
He's the parole officer.
Yeah. Jeez.
I love that, though, the idea of doing bad things, but they're really good. Like you go and you set a silo on fire. I'm going to burn out all their things. Oh, you got rid of the silo. It was filled with some sort of monster. That was brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Dang it.
All the food was poison.
Yeah, all the food was poison.
God.
And then your deity just gets pissed off at you because you're not.
Like, I'm doing what you tell me. That's not bad, actually.
You go and burn down their forests, and they're like, "We were just going to have to pay $1 million platinum to have that thing removed. Thanks, man."
Exactly. It was filled with spiders.
What alignment are you? Accidental good. You know?
Accidental good. There you go. This campaign will introduce brand new alignments.
Don't worry, folks. Actually. We're bringing back classics like Lawful Stupid, Chaotic Mad.
Yes, an accidental neutral.
Accidental
neutral. I didn't
by
mean
all
to
technicalities, neutral.
Just throw it neutral, man.
I just threw what I liked for a name in the chat, by the way.
Waffle.
I like it. That's going to be the name.
You'd have to think of the middle name.
I'll think of the middle name, but that's going to be the name, though. Maybe the middle name will be a mystery. No one will know what it is.
There you go.
It's great.
You just have the middle name change depending which where you're at.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I love it. He's got like 5 separate IDs, and the middle name is different in all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a full wallet full of IDs.
Exactly, all the different passports and everything.
It's like the family pictures. He pulls out one, and all of them just flip out. Oh, we weren't supposed to see that.
Yeah, I can see it. Like the Jason Bourne shows up, takes the floor tile out, and he's got a box full of passports in different currencies. That's Bell.
Yeah.
Doesn't everybody's house have that floor tile?
Only the ones that he's going to go to, I think.
Unfortunately, I have to keep everything in a cardboard box.
Oh, modular.
I can just take it anywhere.
He's more like Jason Board.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, Joe, do you have a map already set up, like a skeleton of a map at least? Or no, you got
no, I mean in my head, yeah, but
yeah,
not like for reals. But you can kind of figure big continent surrounded by there be dragons and water, big lake somewhere in the middle, different forests. All the way on the east side is just this impassable mountain range. And it's deemed impassable because no one ever seems to pass it. But there's definitely something on the other side, right?
Well, that's what they say.
That's what they say.
What was that guard tower for? What was it guarding against?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's got to be something.
Yeah, that's the hook. And then what are we going to do as players? We're not going to go there ever. We're just going to meet.
Nope.
We're going to go there, then we're going to split up. That's
you know what, guys? Let's go to the beach instead. Yeah, let's go.
You ever think that maybe that guard tower isn't keeping those things out, but us from getting in?
Oh.
That's possible.
Hey, you want to go get a drink instead?
You want to go get a drink? That's right.
Let's go get lit, then go to the guard tower.
You're going to get there, and there's just going to be empty beer cans and graffiti everywhere. It's the regular kid hangout anyway, right?
All the local kids, after years and years of us making our way up the mountain, we find that kids have a back door to it. And they just keep going.
Exactly.
It's just a massive slip and slide.
Yeah. That could be an interesting thought.
The ultimate family fun park.
Yeah.
Only one attraction, but it's all we need.
Mountains of the Lost is just, it's the theme park, right?
What would have drawn your character into an area like this? Anybody?
Well, for me, just from you explaining the world here, I think because my character is so hopped up on lore as far as digesting things from like agents of these organizations that have gone off places, I think that he may have heard about one of the agents that he has admired and revered, a tall tale of him going beyond that mountain range and going beyond there and hearing some of the rumor and lore tied into it, and to prove himself to go in there. I think that that's something that he would absolutely do, go up to the actual tower if he heard that this thing that he covets so much and he wants to be a part of is initiation kind of, or has been a legend beyond in that kind of context. He would probably go there for that reason, if he'd be in that town for that particular reason, if it's going that way. Cool.
So question as far as your character goes, with all the research of this agent, what do you call a cabal, a group, what What would you call that?
They would be more like a secret society that manipulates, that has its agents go out and change the world for the good. Because this character, I do believe he has truly good intentions, even though he's a bit of a numpty sometimes. It's basically thinking of, like, when you were a kid and you saw like the Power Rangers, or these other TV shows, and you're like, oh man, I want to be like that. That's kind of what he is, but he's taken it to that level in his head where he's now out in the world actually doing it because of that belief.
So now you using that analogy gives me a way to work off of that analogy. Does your character collect Power Ranger figures?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So you have remnants or what you believe are actual things from this society?
Yep.
All right. So one thing that I want you to do as part of creating your backstory, this agent who, however many years passed, did get onto the other side of the mountains, you have a 5-page handwritten journal from that agent, and you decide what's in it. I'll decide if it's true.
Okay.
You make a little map, just a few scrawls of,
absolutely. I can definitely
died today, don't know why I'm still writing,
Or did I? Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
On the topic of like little artifacts from this shadow society, I'm just imagining like a mummified, dried up piece of flesh. I mean, it says pride and joy. What's that? This is the nose of Tommy No Nose. This is how I know they're real. They're out there.
Exactly. Where else would the nose have come from? It can't be from someone with a nose, right?
Exactly.
Unless it was from Billy Two Nose. No.
Oh, Billy Two Nose.
Oh. It's a whole nother lore right there. Oddly enough, though, I do have all the Power Ranger action figures still mint in box, and I have them. I have the Red Ranger signed by Austin St. John, the original Red Power Ranger.
Dude.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yep.
Wow.
It's a pride and joy for me right there. That one.
That is awesome. The closest thing I've got to any Power Ranger paraphernalia is a wax coin about the size of an apple that my mother made for me just to do it. It's a Aztec jaguar motif, but it looks exactly like one of those golden crests that you would find on like the Power Ranger chest. And it's just it's one of my favorite things because it's just, imagine the Aztec Power Ranger.
Aztec Power Ranger. For some reason, that just made me think of Voltron. I don't know why, but
well, I mean, it's Voltron and Power Rangers. They have crossovers.
Yeah. But I don't know why Aztec stuck. But anyway.
The lions. That's what it is.
Yes. No, I don't think it was that.
I tried,
but it was something. I was distracted by my phone because my wife was texting me. She's actually away with the kids for a day, and she was texting me, and I had to remind her that I'm kind of doing something. So,
yeah.
We'll be out.
It happens.
Yeah, wife, kids.
On the topic of what would bring their characters out here.
Yeah.
It may not seem logical. Like if this guy's going out for coin, why is he going somewhere where nobody comes back from? But my line of thought on this is, if this is an unexplored land, then that's resources we don't know about, people we don't know about that we can trade with, maybe ancient artifacts, just any number of things out there. And most importantly, the glory that comes with coming back. Because I now have information that nobody else does. Mm-hmm. And I can sell that.
Well, we're going to be famous. That's it. The characters are going to be famous when they go and come back.
Except maybe yours.
Fame and fortune.
I'm going to be the most famous agent in the history of famous agents. And it's going to be what gets me in. So, yeah, I'm all for that.
I don't think Mr. Belgian Waffle stands on Shadow Society's work.
That's how they work to me. Don't tell me how my Shadow Society works.
He's the most famousest, though. That means somebody's actually heard of him.
They've written lore about this person. I've read it in those, little comics they give out.
There it is.
I mean, to kids. I've
seen the nose.
Exactly. I have it.
His name's on every wanted poster everywhere, man. Chris. What do you think?
Yeah.
Just yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out if I'm trying. Yeah, because well, I'm reading this guy's backstory that I had, created just a couple years ago now, and I don't know. It might be too dark. Might be a little too dark.
Well, it could be the balance to the others.
That's true. I don't know why he would be there. It's kind of unless he's already out in that area, that would that would make sense.
I mean, he might have a lead. Like
Yeah,
these guys.
your character might be the one that knows something on the other side, something you've got.
Well, that could definitely work out. That can work out. Like he's the guy that's kind of he's got some inside intel on maybe the mountains, and he's already making the plan to go out that way. He's like roping you guys in. Maybe he's roping you guys in as cannon fodder.
That's true.
Red shirts. I don't know. Bad scene.
You've already bought them red shirts. Just to go along.
Here, put these on.
I will wear it with pride, so my enemies will not know when I bleed.
Or it could be the whole, bad things and they turn good. You'd rope us in thinking that you're going to sacrifice us, and in turn, we end up getting everything we wanted.
Fame and fortune. That'd be cool.
That could work out.
What do you guys think of level 1 or 2? Does it matter? How does it matter?
I personally have no preference.
I have a thought on that one.
Yeah.
Like 2 was cool to get the extra hit dice, but if you want to do level 1, can we just say max hit points? It's whatever their hit die plus their constitution bonus, and it's always max hit points for.
I guess what I was going to say
make it a little beefier.
Just like we've done before, Chris, you can just take maximum hit points every level because it's going to make it easier for me to hit you. Right? I don't have to worry about hitting you so much. If I have an idea that you've got 15 hit points, I'm not going to worry about hitting you for 10. It's going to be all right with me. But if you've happened to roll crappy twice and instead of 15, you've got 7 hit points, well, I'm probably going to hit you for 6. It's a little bit of a difference. Just to make sure you don't die on that first hit. It's the monsters that should die on the first hit.
Yeah, I'm down
I'm good either way.
First level, so I'm good for that.
Okay.
My preference leans towards first level since it seems we're mostly going to be quote unquote martial characters. However, if Randy does want to play a caster, I would strongly push for second level, just because in every edition that I've seen or played through, casters are a bit underwhelming in the early levels.
Yeah.
Maybe it's different if he's going to be that warlock, but if there are more casters, I would absolutely want to start second level.
I think one of the things
of a fighter guy, though.
One of the things that 5th edition did well, though, is you actually get 0 level spells that are effective.
Yes.
So you can actually heal and hurt at first level, which you can just keep doing. Your action can be to be a magic user instead of one spell and then I poke things with a dagger or hit it with the staff or hide. So you can be magic all the time. So in that way, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and I think for the purposes of, what Joe is doing with, showing off to players, how do you start a game, I think starting at level 1 would also be, impactful for players to see, what it's like coming into a brand new game from the player's handbook, from, the core source material, and being able to simply just jump into it at first level. So I think that in terms of this year, but I fully agree with you, Eli. Spell cache a little spongy in the beginning, but with a group of 4 and, in my experience DMing, 5th edition, it's hard to kill players, kill them. It's easy to knock them out, but it's hard to actually physically kill them, if the group is playing like the group should.
Yeah. Plus, even when you're down to no hit points, you've got the death saving throws to get you started. Of course, anybody can roll horribly, but the odds are you're not going to really die easily. You're going to have to work at it, which, fortunately, a lot of players do. Work at dying. Most of them try to work at living, but
nah.
Sometimes you're like, you really wanted to die.
Yeah,
I've got 50 character sheets lined up. It's all the same guy, though.
Excuse me. That brings me to another question of how are we going to keep track of that? Do you guys know of an online character sheet thing where you can share it with me, or are you going to kind of write it out and send me a picture? Or It's all up to you, but how do you
I'm
think you
old
want to
school
do
pen
it?
and paper, so I typically send things to me. But my players in my games, they all swear by D&D Beyond, which I also have an account there. And as a DM, you can also get the stuff right from there, and it's easy to read. So I'm fine for either one, whatever you prefer. I'll yield to you, the DM, to let me know what it is. I have no problem either way.
For me, I'm just my ideal is just to take what you give me and make sure I have it in front of me here. In my array of screens in front of me. I'll try and keep things handy in that way. But it really doesn't matter that much because I've used Hero, now I can't remember the name of it. Hero Forge?
That's a mini making thing.
That's not Hero Forge. That's not what I'm talking about. Well, there's an app for it. I have it on my iPad downstairs. Dang it, what the hell am I talking about?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
You're making this
I have no
up.
idea either. I have no idea either.
All right. Anyway, that there's an app for making characters that you can share. You mentioned D&D Beyond. I just reloaded that on my iPhone like a couple of weeks ago, maybe. I used to be subscribed to it when it was the 4th edition stuff, and you could pretty much print out a character sheet online. I haven't looked at it at all for 5th edition.
They've done a lot of improvements with it, yeah.
Do you have to pay a subscription to make a character online?
No, you get one for free, but as a DM, if you want to have access to others, unless to just go on there and pull it, then you have to have, I forget which account it is, but yeah, you'd have to have an actual account.
I'll have to see what I have because I did pay for it back in the day, and I don't remember canceling it. I probably did, but there's just so much money I can't tell what's going where.
Yeah. But I'm good with doing old school. If you're good with that, I can print it up. I can just send it to you. I love pen and paper still, so. Yeah,
I'll probably set myself up a little clipboard or whiteboard here to my side, and it'll have the character name and some of the base things like hit points and AC, and typically I like to have the passive perception and passive wisdom stuff, or passive stuff, handy for me to take a look at. So that's the stuff I'll keep in front of me, but I like to also be able to look up what your character sheet might look like at any given time. It doesn't have to be live, but just the idea that I might want to throw something out there just because your character has it. And that's important. And if I don't know it, then, well, it'll be hard to do it.
Yeah. I personally lean towards pen and paper. I have no experience with like virtual tabletops or D&D Beyond, so it'll be easiest for me to use the pen and paper. Although I do think we should consider D&D Beyond. With Jason's point earlier, the whole purpose of the podcast is to teach new players how to get a group together and how to get the ball rolling. A lot of people nowadays are using these online tools, so I think it is something important to consider.
Yeah, I agree with that. And that's one of the reasons why I mentioned if somebody wanted to or was already learning a new virtual tabletop program, that we could take a look at it as it is right now. Randy had mentioned he might look at Roll20, but he's got a newborn, so I'm not going to rely on or push for that.
Yeah.
And
put the newborn away, get on Roll20.
Quit playing with the baby. Get on your computer and play a game, damn it.
The baby will still be there.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
But I've got a couple of thoughts around that. I've worked with multiple cameras. I've seen now that Zoom has an option of switching cameras. I have a little, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Stream Deck, but it's a little push button thing that you program. And if I can set things up to where I can switch to show something, like I can just show a character sheet without it having to be a perfect resolution on a camera, just be able to show it digitally. If I can move things around and show it temporarily and highlight that screen, and we talk about a character for a minute and then switch back to the people view, that kind of thing. I think that shouldn't be a problem because I've worked with that kind of technical stuff before. The question is, how do I do it with the current technology we're using? I frankly hadn't used Zoom until the pandemic. I've used plenty of other meeting softwares, WebEx and Teams and Skype and all that, but this is the first using Zoom, and I feel like It's definitely more of a consumer-based thing. I shouldn't say, it's not too much of a consumer-based thing. It's more towards business. There's not a whole lot of customizability. I can't even figure out how to tell Zoom to stop doing auto exposure on my camera. There isn't a setting for it. It's just does it. Right. And I have the Logitech software where I can do the controls, and I can change the exposure and change the brightness and the contrast. And then Zoom says, no, I think it should be this.
Zoom knows better than you.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, for me, the point being, as a technology piece, I would like to be able to take whatever you submit me and turn it into a digital presentation of some type. I love pen and paper. Especially because it brings up another fun talking point. If we put your character sheet up and you're the only one that can read it, well, you're the one that has to tell everyone what's on it. Right?
A lot of trust.
There you go.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you bring up that point, maybe we should go to D&D Beyond.
But
I've had chickens that couldn't read my handwriting.
It's one thing I want to do when we get to our first play session. We'll want to talk about each character. We'll put up a character sheet for a minute. We'll talk about the character, maybe switch back and forth with people talking. But that's something that we'll definitely want to do. So I'll look for a way. I'll make sure we have a way to get them up on the screen, and that'll be useful.
Zoom doesn't have a screen share option where we could have them on a device and then share. Okay, so then.
Yep.
That's how I did it. I use Ring Central, which is powered by Zoom. I use it simply because it's what I use for work all the time.
Yep.
And yeah, that's what I do for maps and things like that for my players. And then I have another camera for a battle map that I'll switch over to. So that's how I've been doing it. I haven't used any of the virtual tabletop software though.
Yeah, I was just clicking on this button here, and the default is one participant can share at a time, but I can change it to multiple participants can share simultaneously. So apparently all of us can share, and I'm guessing it probably still splits it up, but we'll figure all that out. Yeah. The other thing too is I have not checked yet to see if chat is recorded. So that's another thing I need to find out. If chat is not recorded, then it's something that we may want to make sure we speak if it needs to be spoken.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to spell out that character name, but I also wanted to call it out because it's just what it is. And then any private messages, if they're in the recording, that's cool because then people watching the actual podcast can see the message. But we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, the messaging is for the games that I've been running, because I've switched over to doing online sessions, is very useful because obviously if the DM is talking to Eli and me and Chris want to talk about something, we can't do it because we're not at the table with each other. We can private message each other or do that. But it does get a little bit daunting because sometimes the players, at least in my last couple of games, they'll just start messaging each other stupid things back and forth because they're all friends and all doing things. And they'll like, didn't you see what I put you? I have to scroll back to like 17 like memes, and I'm like, what? No, I didn't. Absolutely, yeah. You can go and you can take that thing from the table and go, yeah, it's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember passing notes in the days of like Cyberpunk, when Cyberpunk 2020 came out. Everybody's passing notes because everybody's like screwing over half the team. It's hilarious.
Awesome.
But yeah, Joe, speaking of the chat thing, I sent you the background of the character in the text box. It doesn't let you, I guess, paste enough information. It was too much to paste into the chat, so I put it in the text file. So you can kind of read through it and see if it makes sense for anything. But it gives you ideas. It has certain places and different names of organizations to use too to rope in. Anyway.
Cool. I clicked it and it opened right up in front of Jason's face. So. I'll put it in front of your face.
Everyone's characters will just pop up over my face.
Just got to make sure you carve out a little section on the page so you can still see Jason behind everything.
Yeah. Cut a hole in the cardboard box one.
Just a little peephole. Who's there?
Oh, that's not the button I wanted to push. Damn, you
What did you do?
Stupid thing. Let's see.
So besides the little spiel you gave us about the land of Never, do you have anything else? Any other organizations or political things going on? Or you pretty much, this is like super skeleton, or you're going to have more by the time we like lift off on this, I guess.
It's more of the idea that if you want to have something exist before you start, let me know what it is, and I'll do it. If you want to create it as we start, then that's how we'll do it as well.
Okay. I didn't know if you had something like, hey, this is already pre-existing, and I could base something off of that as well, you know.
Well, and that's where at the beginning, the way I kind of worded it was the lands of many different cities, populations, climates, and peoples. I mean, I always like the idea of there being places that are both monarchies as well as committee-run places.
Yeah.
And the one there's a place I'm sure that's run by a general council kind of deal rather than a single person. But then there's also kingdoms, and I like all of those, so I like to make sure that they all exist. So if you're thinking of that you're from a certain kingdom or just from a collective of farming cities or something like that, or towns, then we can do any of those things. But if you want something that's already there, and that might be the reason you're going there, I can make whatever we need to work.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. But I specifically didn't name anything yet, with the idea that I want to hear more about the characters and where they might be from. And I'll that'll be up to you guys, of course, where your character's from. And that can help, especially if, for example, somebody says they're either from this town or from someplace nearby. Then and if you're from a nearby city, well, though, that gives me, maybe this town is under the jurisdiction of the city, but, just outside of the sheriff's range or something, right? And they have their local adventurers that try to keep things in line, whatever. But we can definitely do any of those things. I keep looking to see if Randy might send a message.
All right. Hopefully he can pop in soon. But I do like that more free-form world building in a campaign I played a few years ago. The DM legit said, all right, guys, I'm not building any world. You tell me exactly what's going on. And anything else is just icing on the cake. My character backstory ended up making half of the continent that we were on because nobody else submitted ideas, at least that were that expansive.
That happens so often.
You know what? He's not building a world. I'm gonna build a nice little chunk, give him something to work with. And then everybody else is just, oh yeah, I mean, I lived in a little halfling tent city. I am just a wandering spell sword who's never had a home. I'm just like, guys, come on. He gave us one job.
Yeah. From a halfling tent city, and I'm a wandering tent maker. We met up one day, and now here we are.
Right. So yeah, it's something that I do enjoy, just because it makes the world so much more mysterious, especially since this seems to be more like an exploration game. It's going to be a lot more freeform and just surprises out of every corner. I was about to start snapping my fingers to accentuate that, but realized that would have been a bad idea.
Well, mine or might not be. Yeah, I always like to think the world should not be the star of the game. It should be the characters. Mm-hmm. And that makes it so the characters are the most important if you don't even know anything else about the world yet. If you don't even know who the king is, he's not more important than your character yet.
Yep.
He might be at some point, but he's not yet.
Well, it also makes the world theirs, the players, which it should be. And that's something that, I'm a big fan of because, and I don't know about you guys, but, on the D&D forums and things like that, I see a lot of DMs that'll say, oh, I'm going to plan on killing my party today. I'm going to do this here. I'm like, why? It's not the point of the game. The game is you're facilitating your story. You're making it about them. So they want to keep playing with you rather than going in there and trying just to murder them because you're pissed off at something or something.
Or because so many people think that the GM and player relationship is an adversarial one, and it's really a cooperative one. It's not.
Yeah, it's my older brother.
it's not the GM versus the players, nor is it even the world versus the characters. It is the GM and the players and the world and the characters. And it's only when the characters get into trouble that they can get hurt by the world, because nothing by default is adversarial. You just find a way to turn the conflict into fun.
That's one of the my biggest gripes with being a DM and trying to find new groups. People misunderstanding the relationship between DM and players, and a lot of people have tried to get away from the DM versus player mentality that built D&D, but it's sort of evolved into the inverse. It's almost like it's the players versus the DM. And it's just sad to see. It's like, guys, I made a story. I want to see the story happen.
Yeah.
I'll make your stories happen, but please make mine happen.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Agreed.
Hear that. So I was trying to wrangle Randy on the wrangle Randy. That's fun to say.
Yeah, he said he's on his way.
Wrangle Randy on the Facebook chat. And what I'm going to do with this, just to make it easy on myself, is it's close to an hour from the time I started this recording. So I'm actually just going to hit stop to end this one. And when Randy joins, we'll kick off the next one. So in the meantime, we're going to wrap up this first session 0 and get to the second session 0 right after this. But now we can all say bye.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Yay.
The preceding podcast was brought to you by onejoeyoung. You can find us online at adventuresfromtheshed.com.